Hey, everybody, welcome back to the DFA Sports Podcast. We are continuing our segment on pre-draft fantasy lists, and we are on the number one position for fantasy, and that is the running back. Obviously, the first round should be chock full of running backs, and we're going to go through our list. We have 25 here for you for running backs 1 and 2, and then a couple extras sprinkled in there just in case you need a few extras. And we're going to start right now with number 25, Melvin Gordon for the Broncos. Now, I don't really like specifically the Broncos' total offense. I do like the fact that they have Teddy Bridgewater. Melvin Gordon is a solid runner. He has a lot of touchdowns last year just due to his red zone touches, but there's going to be a lot of men in the box this year with Bridgewater's lack of arm strength. I wouldn't be surprised if Melvin Gordon has kind of a rough year, but we have him at number 25. He's a solid number 2 pick running back number 2. Number 24, Miles Sanders. I don't foresee the Eagles being that good this year. It is Jalen Hurts' team. He's not going to get that much touches when it comes to be a top-tier running back, but he does have good production with only 164 carries last year. He ran for 860 yards and some touchdowns. He's a good running back option if you need for a running back too, but I wouldn't take him in anywhere near the first round. Number 23, Chris Carson. Now, he didn't really get a lot of touches last year, only 140 carries. They love to run the football in Seattle. They finally have all their running backs healthy. He is their top running back. He is a beast when he's on the field. The problem is he has health concerns. He's good at running the ball, and he's also good out of the backfield. So if he can stay healthy, he's going to be have a good year. He's a solid running back 2 for you. We have him at number 23 on our list. Number 22, Joe Mixon. 22 seems pretty low for Mixon, but Burrow's coming back from injury. They're going to lean heavily on Mixon. The problem is the roster's not good enough. They're in the toughest division in the AFC. He should have a quality year. He only got 120 carries last year. That's not that many. We'll see if he can get his production up, but the overall quality of the roster is not that good, but his talent's going to keep him as a good running back number 2. Number 21, James Robinson. I have a huge decline in James Robinson this year. He was a top 10 running back last year. We're moving him down. They leaned heavily on him because they literally had Gardner Minshew and no one else on their team. So they ran the ball 240 times with him, gave him a ton of touches. He had a lot of yards, a lot of TDs. Urban Meyer does like to run the football. He ran the football all the time at Ohio State, but the only person on that team that's any good is Trevor Lawrence. James Robinson will get some touches, but he's not going to have the same year they had last year. They're a bad team. They do play in a bad division, but they're not going to be able to maintain that. I think last year was kind of a fluke year. The first 6 weeks of the season, he put up a majority of his numbers because people weren't ready for it. They're going to be ready for it this year. They're going to key on him, force Lawrence to win them the games, but they don't really have any wide receiver threats. Their offensive line is not very good. I don't see Robinson being a top 10 running back this year, but he's still a good running back number 2. Number 20, Ronald Jones. He's only high on the list because he plays for Tampa Bay. Late in the game, he's going to get a lot of touches because they're going to be up all the time. They're just going to audible down to him. He's going to get a lot of garbage time or closeout time rushes for him. He had a lot of that last year, which led to his 7 touchdowns. He almost had 1,000 yards. He almost had 200 carries. It's going to be around the same this year. He was about top 20 last year. He's going to be top 20 again this year. He's a solid number 2 running back. Number 19, Myles Gaskins. He kind of broke out a little bit, but didn't really have the best overall numbers. He was a solid option. He will get a good amount of touches. They do like to throw it to him in the flat and check downs for him. He's going to be a top 20 back again this year. He's not going to make it a top 15 or top 10. The Dolphins are just not going to be that good offensively for him to do so, but he's still a really good option when it comes to being able to get a second or even third running back. Number 18, Devin Singletary for the Bills. Pass-heavy offense, great when it comes to late game. They're going to be able to run the ball, kind of keep things out. Great roster, some check down passes there. Doesn't really get a lot of touchdowns because, again, it's a pass-heavy offense, but still he's going to be the beneficiary of a lot of touches when it comes to later down the road, getting some things going and things like that. So he's a good running back. I'm not saying he's bad or not talented or anything like that. He just plays in the wrong system for him to get a bunch of touches. Number 17, Gus Edwards. Now, I did have J.K. Dobbins in this spot. He got hurt. I'm putting Gus Edwards in this spot because I believe that the system for the Ravens, regardless of who you have, is going to be able to put up some points, okay? Their team is amazing. He's unproven when it comes to being a number 1 back. It's the first time he's been number 1 in the offense. Their number 2 behind him got hurt as well, so he is basically going to be the best running back that they have. and they are on the best rushing attack in the NFL with Lamar Jackson. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a pretty decent year. He's not going to be an amazing number 1 running back, but he's definitely going to be on the high ends of the running back 2s for your list. Number 16 is Najee Harris. He's a rookie out of Bama. He's an amazing runner, really big, talented, great runner of the football. Steelers love to run the ball. He's going to be a very good complement to Big Ben in that offense. They do need to run the ball more. The problem is we don't know if their offensive line is going to be able to move anybody. Last couple of years, they really haven't been able to get very much push up front for them to run the ball between the tackles. We'll see how they do with Najee Harris. He is a big guy. He kind of looks like he could be Derrick Henry. He's obviously not the same size or the same speed as Derrick Henry, but he is a really, really, really good option. He's in a good system for him to be good. I like Najee Harris as a rookie on this list with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 15, Damien Harris. Heavy rushing attack from the Patriots. Great O-line. Rookie quarterback's best friend is a good running attack. He's going to be their number 1 back. I know they like to mix it up and have 5, 6, 7 running backs to play. He is the top running back on the team. I think he'll benefit the most from it and put him close to top running back number 2. He's not going to be one of your number 1 running backs. He should be your number 2 running back, and he should be the tops in that list. We like Damien Harris and the way the Patriots run the football. They're going to get a lot of running. They do like to do that a lot depending on matchups. So I really like the way they kind of run the football overall as a team, and he's going to be the biggest beneficiary of that. Number 14, Raheem Mostert. Now, this is kind of weird because he gets hurt a lot, and the 49ers are kind of up in the air with what they're going to do. They're getting some shaky quarterback play right now from Garoppolo. We don't know how Lance is going to be. If Trey Lance comes in and he's good, he's going to make Raheem Mostert even that much better because now they have to worry about whether Lance is going to carry the ball. Shanahan loves to run the football. They have an exotic rushing offense. They do all kinds of weird things when it comes to that. Raheem Mostert might be one of the fastest guys in the league overall. He can take any ball to the house. The problem is we don't know what they're going to be doing when it comes to this offense. If their quarterback play is not better, he's going to get keyed on all game, and he is going to get stopped, and they're going to put 8 men in the box and say, see what you can do, Garoppolo. Let's go from there. So I understand that they love to run the football, and it's really good. He only had 500 yards last year. He didn't have very many touchdowns. He was hurt for a lot of the year, but the rushing attack is all dependent on whether Garoppolo can come out and do well or whether Trey Lance assimilates in the offense well. So I really like him as a high. He could be a top running back. He could be a really good running back number 2. That's why he's kind of on that midway list at number 14. Number 13, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire for the Chiefs. This is only on the list because he plays for the Chiefs. We don't really know what he's going to be able to do running the football. He got hurt a lot last year. He's been hurt a little this year already. Didn't get that many carries, only 180, so he's not going to be one of your top bell cow running backs. He had a ton of yards, 4 touchdowns. He's just a beneficiary to playing with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. Andy Reid has an exotic offensive looks, finds the way to get him the ball. The Chiefs need balance on their offense. They have to have a running game. It's what they kind of lacked when it came to winning the Super Bowl. They had a really good rushing attack. With Williams, he came out and he ran for 200-something yards in the Super Bowl and kind of won him the game. If Clyde Edwards-Hilaire doesn't come out and run the football for them, they're not going to have as good offense as they should. They are going to have a great offense. We'll see if he is the top running back there, but he looks like he could be really, really good. He fits into the offense well, catches the ball out of the backfield great. Should get a lot of late-game touches when they're trying to close out close games. I really like him, but he's not in the top 12. He shouldn't be a number 1 running back for you. He is the number 1 running back 2. Number 12, Josh Jacobs. I like the Raiders. They love to run the football. Gruden loves to run the football. He's an unbelievable talent. He is their second option on the team. Darren Waller obviously is their number 1 option. They have no other receivers outside of him that are proven, but they're going to lean heavily on Jacobs. He had 270 carries last year for 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. We'll see if they can do that. They play in a tough division. They're going to be a good team, about 500 team. We'll see how they go, but it's going to be heavily on Jacobs to do that. I see him as the number 1 running back on your team if you want to take him, but he is going to be the last of your number 1 running backs between him and number 11, which is Antonio Gibson. I have Gibson coming in here, specifically at number 11. He didn't have that many carries last year. They were 2-8 without Alex Smith. They have Fitzpatrick this year. They have a good O-line. He's the number 1 option on that team. They're going to run the football a lot, try to run the football, play good defense, win special teams, and run the football. He shows good promise in his rookie year last year with 11 touchdowns. He should be able to do that again. He only had 800 yards. He only had 170 carries. If he gets over that 200 carry mark, he's going to have the similar season. He should be a top 10 Definitely a number one running back for you. Washington is going to lean heavily on the run game with an old quarterback like Fitzpatrick. Number 10, Austin Eckler. Great receiving running back, very shifty, comes out of the backfield really well, catches balls like that. Herbert's going to love him. He's going to lean on him a lot to dump the ball off when he's under pressure, even though their offensive line got significantly better with their all-pro center, Lindsey. He only had 116 carries last year, 500 yards, only one touchdown on the ground, but he had 2 touchdowns receiving, which shows that he will be able to catch the ball on the field. In a PPR league, he's going to be a top 10 back. I think he's going to benefit specifically from Herbert and how good he is. It just depends on whether they're going to throw him screens and keep him going, okay? I really like Austin Eckler. He should be pretty good. A lot of people have him in the top 5. I'm going to keep him in the top 6, keep my expectations dampened a little bit because his talent is good, but they don't really run the football that much in L.A. Number 9, Jonathan Taylor, 232 carries last year, almost 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, maybe the best offensive line in football. Highly productive in the offense that wants to control the ball and not put a lot of pressure on Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is injured. He may not be able to play every single game. The best thing they can do is turn around and hand it off to Jonathan Taylor. He was one of the best running backs in college when he played for Wisconsin. He was one of the best running backs at the end of the year last year when the offensive line took off. If the Colts want to win the game, they're going to give the ball to Taylor and let him run the football. He is really good. He's shown he can carry the ball a lot in his rookie season for 230 times. Need to bump that number up to 300. If he gets close to 300 carries, he's going to be a top 4 running back in the league. I project him to be a top 5 running back, but we're going to put him at number 9 just because we haven't seen him get the number of carries he needs to get up there. He doesn't really catch the ball out of the backfield that much. That's fine. The offense doesn't revolve around that for Indianapolis. They don't really do all that. All they do is run football for power football game. They're in the worst division in all of football. He should get a lot of yards, again, in 4 different matchups against Jacksonville and Houston. But he's going to be a good pick for you if you can get him in the first round. After a couple of the other guys, he should be able to perform pretty well for you. Number 8, Aaron Jones. Now, Aaron Jones is only hampered because he's playing with Aaron Rodgers, and they like to throw the ball a lot. He's an unbelievable talent. He's a great runner of the football. He does a really good job running and has great balance, hits the holes well. He's a good one-cut back. The problem is the offensive line is not as good as it was last year, but he does benefit from Rodgers in the passing game. They're not going to really key on him that much. But he only had 2 receptions out of the backfield last year, so he's not going to get that many catches. I see him as a top 5 running back, top 10 running back. I have him number 8 only because he doesn't get that many carries. He doesn't see that much receptions out of the yard, but when he does get the ball, he's electric. Number 7, Saquon Barkley. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with him. He's a top 3 running back talent. When he is healthy, he's a top 3 running back regardless of having the worst offensive line in football. He's done things in his rookie year that most people shouldn't be able to do, and he's taken the ball to the house. He's fast, he's big, he's strong. He's what you want out of a running back position. The problem is he was injured last year. He has the worst offensive line in football. People are going to be keying on him because he's back. We'll see what he can do. But again, when it comes to pure running back talent, you can't find anyone better than Saquon Barkley. He's a hard worker. He should come back from his injury and be good. I know it's a knee injury, so it could hamper what he can do laterally and his ability to make cuts and stuff. But I feel like with nowadays recovery process, he should be good to go. They need a little bit of help on the offensive line, but he still should have a really good year. I'm putting it at number 7. Number 6 is Zico Elliot. Dak being back in the lineup puts him a little bit higher on my list. I know a lot of people think he's in shape. He looks like he's in his prime. He should be really, really good. Zico Elliott only had really 2 good years where he ran for 1,000 yards. And that was when they had the best offensive line in football. Their offensive line looks really good. Zach Martin is out, though, right now for week 1, so we'll see how he does against the Buccaneers and that elite defense. He doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield for touchdowns very often. He didn't have very many touchdowns last year. He only had 244 carries. That number's going to go down with Dak Prescott coming in, but with people keying on the offensive passing game with Prescott being in the lineup, he's going to have a lot more open spaces. He should be able to get a little bit more checkdowns. They might throw more screens. He's still an offensive elite talent at the running back position. He's just not top 5 for us on our list. Number 5, Alvin Kamara. Now, Alvin Kamara was one of the top running backs in the league last year. Only had 187 carries, didn't have 1,000 yards rushing. He had 16 touchdowns. He's a freak when it comes to balance and the ability to make people miss. He had 750 yards in the air last year and 5 touchdowns receiving. He does not have Drew Brees anymore. He is their only option. Michael Thomas is out for at least 6 games. They don't really have any other people on offense. Jameis Winston is key turnovers, things like that. We will see what he can do. He's still a top 5 talent. I still think he's going to be able to get his carries and do what he needs to do. 187 carries is low for him with Jameis Winston. With Jameis Winston as his quarterback, he's going to get 250 carries, which means those numbers are going to go up if their offensive line can continue to block the way they did last year. We don't know. They're getting a little older. We'll see how that works, but I still think he's top 5. The only reason we don't have him any higher, Jameis Winston, I mean, it just depends on what's going to happen. They're going to put 8 men in the box and see what he can do. Number 4, Dalvin Cook. Again, top 4 here. It's going to be, pick your poison on what you feel, who you think is going to happen. 312 carries, unbelievable amount, second most in the league last year. 1,500 yards, 16 TDs, only 1 receiving TD last year. He's a great talent, unbelievable burst. When he hits the hole and has 1 cut, there's nobody like him in the league. He lacks pass-catching TDs to place him outside, which places him outside the top 3. If he caught more balls out of the backfield, he would easily be, in my opinion, a top 3 running back. He gets enough carries. With Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and Kirk Cousins and their defense coming back healthy, he may get more carries, but they need to be ahead. They played from behind a lot last year, and he didn't get a chance. But if they're playing from ahead, he might be able to do better than 4th overall. He just doesn't catch the ball enough out of the backfield, and it's not a run-heavy offense, which is the reason why he's number 4. Number 3 on my list, Christian McCaffrey, only because we don't know what he's going to be off the injury. He is an explosive talent at the running back position. He is a wide receiver and a running back all mixed in one. The year in his rookie year, he had over 100 catches, over 1,000 yards. He had over 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. He had 20 touchdowns overall. He had the most yards from scrimmage of any player. He was hurt last year. He's got a new quarterback in Sam Darnold, new coach from his rookie year. We'll see how he comes back. But again, there's no denying the talent from Christian McCaffrey. This guy would be a top 5 just on the receiver list. Top 3 in running back because he runs the ball well. He catches the ball out of the backfield well. There's nobody like him in the NFL. If the Panthers are going to be any good, they're going to have to give him the ball, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 500 touches receiving and running this year. That's a lot, but they're going to lean on him because they don't really have anybody else. Number 2, Nick Chubb, specifically second best, maybe the best offensive line of football. They're going to turn around and hand him the ball 300 times this year. He only got it 190 last year. Their defense is remarkably better. They're going to be playing with a lead for almost the entire year, except for week 1 when they play the Chiefs. Exactly what Baker Mayfield needs for him to be a good quarterback. It sounds terrible because Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback, but he's not an elite quarterback. He will be relied on to win games. He's going to get a lot of touches. When they start getting fumbles and doing a lot of other things, he's specifically going to be leaned on. Turn around, give him the ball, first down, second down. If it's 3rd and 2, give him the ball again. They're just going to keep giving it to him, grind out games, win the games with defense and running, and then the play-action game will come after that. They're going to basically take the blueprint from the Tennessee Titans and what they do with Derrick Henry and apply it to Nick Chubb because he is that good of a runner. He doesn't catch the ball that well out of the backfield, but he's going to get a lot of carries this year. I think Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski understand our offensive line and running game and defense are what's going to win us the game. If they want to compete for the AFC Championship, Nick Chubb needs 300 carries, and if he gets them, he's going to be a top 2 running back. Number 1, Derrick Henry. Dude gets 350 to 400 carries every single year. He ran for 2,000 yards last year, one of the first in a long time to do so. 17 touchdowns. He is an absolute freak size running back, speed running back. Most touches in the league the last 3 years. He's coming into his prime. That offense revolves around him. He has a new offensive coordinator, so they're going to lean on him because it's easy to turn around and give the ball to number 22. He's bigger than most linebackers. He's bigger than most defensive ends, bigger than most defensive tackles. He's got the best stiff arm we've seen probably in the last 30 years. He's throwing grown men to the ground with his off arm while he's running. There's not much to say about Derrick Henry. When you get into the second half, he gets 30, 40 touches in the game. People are not one to tackle this guy. He's going to run for 1,500 to 2,000 yards again like he does the last 2-3 years. Late game is King Henry time. Give him the crown. He's number 1 overall. A lot of people are saying he doesn't catch the ball in the backfield. It doesn't matter. He gets more touches and carries than every other guy just because of the amount of times they run the football. Nobody wants to tackle him. Even his own teammates don't want to get in the way of this guy. He's number 1. It's not even close in our book. I mean, this guy's the best running back in football, and it's you can obviously see it. Just standing next to the guy, you can see it. So That's our list for running backs. Let us know what you think. Is there anybody on the list that you think should be higher? Anybody you think should be lower? Anybody we didn't put on here that you think we should go with? Please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know how we did, and we appreciate it. And we will see you on the next.